2020 was one heck of a year, but between the endless screams and babble, one thing has risen to the forefront of society, the most epic of pastimes. For many people, video games are a strange medium, populated by all sorts of strange creatures. But we've seen gaming all over pop culture in a way that really hasn't been seen before. Whether it's the astronomical success of games like Animal Crossing, or the surprise boom of Among Us, or just the continued success of mainstays like Fortnite and COD, gaming is bigger than ever, and is uniquely positioned as a medium that can bring us together as a society in these dark days. But what even are video games? And how do you get into them? And what happened to my brain? These are all very important questions. And before you pull out your checkbook and start sending money over to Papa Phil for his lovely boxes, you should decide if video games are even appealing to you. There are a million reasons people play video games, but I want to narrow it down to a few major ones. Escape, community, art, and most importantly, fun. If any of these concepts intrigue you, feel free to watch the rest of the video. If not, continue living your completely happy and fulfilled life. To really help the layman sink their teeth into gaming, I'm going to start with the most obvious reason to play games. They are fun. Brilliant, I know. But what is fun? And why do video games give us so much of it? Fun is not just a great band that had 2 fantastic albums then disbanded but never officially broke up, or just a chemical called dopamine releasing in our brains. Fun has been called many things. But as it pertains to gaming, it becomes much more than just friends who do stuff together, you and me, in anywhere and anytime at all. Because games are so broad, people find fun in many different aspects of it. Without going too much into each genre, I see games like Mario Kart, Smash Bros, Fortnite, and sports games providing the most simplistic form of fun to the casual gamer. These games are easy to pick up and understand, they have bright colors and tight controls. They don't require you to read hundreds of pages of Grimoire and gain a deep understanding of their universe. And most importantly, they're just fun to play with friends. The pick up and play and social elements of these types of games make them ideal for introducing non-gamers into the beautiful world of gaming. But what if you want to take it to the next level? What if you want to see what other types of fun games have to offer? The next step of a casual gamer might be a platformer. These games have the colors and tight controls of a casual game, but they can be hard as nails. Games like Crash Bandicoot, the 3D Mario games, or even the 2D Mario games, games like Mega Man, they're all easy to pick up, but extremely hard to master. They are enjoyable just to play. But they have caused many a gamer to destroy the precious controllers their parents bought them for their 27th birthday. The next step is action narrative games. These help to get casuals into more story-based games. Games like Uncharted and Tomb Raider do a great job of demonstrating the story potential of games, and the fun within them is palpable. But what about taking the next step, to be a true hardcore gamer? What types of games would you try? Well, this gets a little sticky because the short answer is everyone! Whether it's being brutally murdered over and over again in a Soulsborne game, or building and maintaining your property in a farming sim game, the hardcore game scene is an endless barrage of experiences that beg you to at least give them a try. Who knows, maybe learning how to sing karaoke as a Japanese crime lord, or being beaten over and over again to 1930s cartoons is your thing. I mentioned it already, but it is important to talk about what hardcore gamers enjoy about these games. Many people, like myself, look at Dark Souls and say, what is the point? Why do you enjoy a game that intentionally makes it hard on you? This question is a little dismissive of the genius at work in these games. Many people just enjoy the settings of these games. They are bleak, vague, and beg you to explore every inch to learn their secrets. They don't spoon feed you the way a typical narrative game does, and this appeals to many gamers. But the biggest draw of a Soulsborne game, as far as I can tell, is the challenge of it all. The pure sense of pride and accomplishment, not you, when you learn the pattern of a boss and finally overcome the difficulty. It's one of the most rewarding feelings to gamers, I've been told. The other genre I mentioned was sim games. These can have casual appeal like The Sims, but most of these games appeal to a very niche selection of people. Flight simulator, farming simulator, train simulator, etc. These games appeal to people because they give an opportunity to do something they otherwise could not. Like taking off in a plane, or landing a plane, or flying a plane into the air. Learning how to farm is a hobby. These games are routine-based games with a clear line of progression that rewards hard work and patience. Another hardcore genre is JRPGs, or anime games. These do indeed exist. The fun that video games bring to countless people, casual and hardcore alike, is a huge reason why they have stuck around as long as they have, and a great reason to give them a try. Human beings are always seeking the next thing to do in order to distract us from our shallow, meaningless lives. We search for an endless amount of distractions from our daily routine, and video games provide this to many a gamer. When many people sit down to play a video game, it can be for more reasons than just pure entertainment. We all have things in our lives that bring us down. Stuff like school, work, family issues, unpaid taxes, the government knocking on my door right now asking what I did with the US Mint. These things bring us stress, and for this reason, the gamer seeks to escape this through the medium of gaming. Escaping from our lives for a few hours is very important to your mental health. We are given the ability to leave the real world behind and enter a world of your choosing, be it fantasy with games like The Witcher, Skyrim, or Zelda, or science fiction with games like Halo, Mass Effect, or Horizon Zero Dawn, or even our own history, but with a fun twist, with games like Red Dead Redemption, BioShock, or Wolfenstein. All of these games provide us different worlds to explore. Many people don't have the opportunity to ride a horse in real life, so playing a game like Red Dead Redemption provides them this form of escape. Unfortunately, you can't escape into a game physically to avoid being extradited. Trust me, I've tried. Escape is one of the most important things art provides us, and video games are no exception. One of the most contested subjects concerning video games is whether or not they are, in fact, art. This is of course ridiculous. Video games are a summation of all forms of art that exist, be it writing, design, painting, music, video, even sculpting. Video games are just as valid of an art form as books or movies, and even more so. Many games out there seek to elevate the medium by being a true art piece, or being made by an auteur. Games like The Last of Us, Ori, Gone Home, Journey, Abzu, etc. A lot of these games seek to expand the medium by providing experiences that aren't just fun to play, but thought-provoking and beautiful. Experiences that will stick with you for a lifetime. Things that you can only experience through the interactive medium of video games. All forms of art deserve to be expressed and preserved, and unfortunately video games just aren't taken as seriously as many other mediums. I mean, if somebody wants to tell me that the Mona Lisa is better than Bubsy 3D, that's on them, I guess. One of the biggest contributing factors to the rise of video games has to be the community aspect of games. Starting with couch co-op with consoles like the NES and more prominently the Nintendo 64, multiplayer video games really push games into a much broader space. You could go over to your friend's house and they would say, "Shall we play a game?" Oh. And then you and Johnny would probably sit down and play Super Mario Kart for 2 hours and then immediately never want to see each other again. The ease of split-screen co-op really helps to spread the awareness of video games. Split screen would go on to be the main way multiplayer was done until late in the original Xbox's lifespan, when Halo 2 launched with this nifty little feature called Xbox Live. Xbox Live was the first console version of online multiplayer, which meant you no longer had to go to Johnny's house to play Halo with him. You could do it from home. Like any other social media, online video games created a new frontier for gaming and community engagement. Modern online gaming falls into a few categories: MMOs, Battle Royales, traditional multiplayer, and live service games. MMOs, or massively multiplayer online games, are mostly on PC, and they take place in a giant, ever-expanding world with its own story and lore. These games have many types of quests that usually focus on PvE or player versus environment, which means the players work together fighting the computer. The reward loop of these games is usually loot for your characters like armor, weapons, mounts, etc. Games like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Elder Scrolls Online are a few examples of popular MMOs. I personally don't engage much with MMOs, but they have their crowd. However, they do cost a monthly subscription price to play them. Traditional multiplayer games usually are games that release with a single-player campaign and a vast suite of multiplayer modes. These games appeal to a more casual player due to the simplicity of just jumping into a multiplayer match and having a good time, without the commitment of an MMO. Games like Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield are some modern examples of games that still use this model with their latest releases. Live service games, or games as a service, or MMO lights, or MMO shooters, or shared world shooters, are the hardest to nail down with one definition. They usually consist of a mix of player versus environment and player versus player modes, are open world-ish, have a loot-based progression system, but don't really require a monthly sub or as much commitment as a true MMO. Games like Destiny, The Division, Anthem, and even GTA Online could all fit this description. These games provide a dopamine-filled gameplay loop and a robust set of multiplayer options that help you to group up with friends and progress through the game together. The newest MP kit on the block are Battle Royale games. These games are very simple in concept. 100 people start a match together in a giant map with closing circle of death, and fight until the last man standing wins. These games seem to hit the perfect spot of capturing the bite-sized fun of a traditional multiplayer game and the deep progression system of a live service game. Each match of Battle Royale is its own story, and this appeal has allowed the genre to hit the mainstream in a big way. Games like PUBG helped to make the genre popular, but Fortnite is the game that really brought the genre to popular culture in the biggest way. Apex Legends and Call of Duty Warzone are two other notable examples of this genre. Multiplayer has allowed entire communities to spring up around individual games, and it has allowed the spread of games to be extremely simple, as you can just play with your friends, which isn't nearly as intimidating for outsiders. And most importantly, it allows friends to enjoy the medium of games together, which is something that really helps to make gaming special, especially when most gamers don't have friends, thus creating a paradox. Many of you have gotten to this point of the video wondering, well, golly gee, there's a lot to this video game stuff, but
how shall I do it?
Well, you've come to the right herb. Getting into video games can be intimidating for an outsider. Trying to decide what console to get, what games to start with, or even if you like gaming in the first place are all very confusing things if you don't have prior experience. Now, before you go out and buy a 3K gaming PC, I would recommend figuring out gaming is your thing. The best way to do this is go to a friend who has a game console and play some games with them. Now, if you're like me and don't have any friends, you can always try free demos on your PC or even your phone. Most average laptops or desktop PCs can run various games with ease. Trying small games like Undertale, Minecraft, or Among Us are great ways to see if this stuff grabs you, and most of those have demos or are free. If this intrigues you and you want to take a deeper dive into gaming, but still don't want to spend the big bucks, there are a few ways you can go. Number one, just get a base Xbox or PS4. You can usually get these for less than $250, and if you happen to go with the Xbox, you can get a sub to Game Pass, $1 for 3 months. Game Pass is a service that offers a huge variety of games to try for a monthly sub price. Think of it like Netflix for games, and it is perfect for newbies into gaming. Now, if you're feeling more like a single-player guy and you want to see the highest fidelity graphics consoles have to offer, but you don't want to mess with the PC world, you might want to look at the PS5. These set at a steep price of $499 and are super hard to come by, but they do have the entire backlog of PS4 exclusives to try. And if you get a PS Plus subscription, you'll get the PS Plus Collection, which is a handful of great games to show you what you missed on the PS4. You can usually find deals for these subscription services or free trials to always see if you like these games before you buy in. If you're someone who hasn't played a game since the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo 64 and you just want to jump back into your favorite Nintendo platforms, check out the Switch. You can play all the modern Nintendo games you've been missing, as well as all the NES and SNES games you grew up with a $20 a year sub, of course. The Switch also lets you play a fair amount of third-party games, and the best part, you can play all of its games on the go, which is handy for those of you that are busy and don't have lots of time for gaming, which also makes you bad gamers. It's also great for party games, if that's your cup of tea, of course. If you want the most epic gaming experience and are cool with laying down the big bucks, well then PC gaming might be for you. This is where the Matrix Souls and teraflops go to die. You can always buy a pre-built gaming desktop, but if you have real cojones, you'd build one yourself. This is best learned by watching videos about the best components to buy and how to assemble that stuff, because I sure as don't know how to. Gaming is a huge medium. It encompasses some of the most impressive pieces of art ever made, as well as some of the most basic. It appeals to children as well as seniors. It is fun for introverts and extroverts, single players or multiplayers, those who want to escape or those who just want to have fun. It is a thing that helps us all connect in more ways than one, and it is very much more than a toy for children. If you're scared by gaming, maybe give it a shot. Who knows, it could become your new favorite hobby, or you could absolutely hate it. What do I know? Why would you listen to me? I'm an idiot.